So, hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the most important topic, and which is very critical for grade 4 to 8 students. If you are a student, so you have to understand the changes which you are going through, and if you are a parent, it is very important video for you to understand the phase of your child. So, the dark side of being a topper, you must be having a question in your mind if you're watching this video, that why do so many grade 5 or 4 gold medalists in mathematics or very bright students of the school disappear by grade 9? If you see the students scoring very high, doing great in IMO Olympiads in grade 4, 5, and suddenly, they vanish in grade 9, 10. What exactly happens? So here we are going to talk about why do so many grade 5 people, students are not performing well when they reach to grade 9 or grade 10. So, as per the studies, nearly 35% of the gifted students, I would say, in the Indian term, experience significant burnout before high school. Now, what is this burnout? We are going to talk about that. It's not that the mathematics go too hard or the studies become very tough. It's that the pressure got too heavy. Now, what is the pressure I'm talking about? It's not the pressure of parents or teachers. This is something else, pressure of being topper, and what kind of symptoms, how we can identify that and what exactly it is and how to rectify it. So all these things we are going to study and discuss in this particular video. So stay tuned till the end. Now, firstly, let's discuss about spotting the red flags. Now, is this whatever you are thinking in your mind, that some changes are happening with your child? So, is it a red flag or not? To identify that, you have to observe few things. The first is procrastination on fun subjects, avoiding the very maths puzzles they used to love. The first thing is that if they have stopped doing things which they used to love to, right? For example, your child used to, do a kind of puzzles. Now he's, procrastinating means not doing it right now, or delaying it, that I'll do it later, right? Postponing it. So if that is happening, that is a red flag that any activity, whether it's painting, drawing, playing, or specifically in academics, okay? If I'll talk about in academics, the child used to be very interested in mathematics. Nowadays, he or she don't want to do mathematics. Such kind of things are happening. So it's a red flag. Next is refusing to start a problem unless they are certain of the answer. So what happened at this age is the students, don't want to attempt the question or don't want to attempt a particular subject just because they have a fear that the other person will judge him or her. So if they're not certain about the answer, if they're not certain, if they're not sure that they'll be able to solve this question, okay, they'll not attempt it. So once they're sure that okay, if they'll solve it, if they'll do it perfectly, then only they'll attempt it. Else they're not going to attempt it, then it's a red flag because they are in the scenario of being perfect, and they are being paralyzed by this term perfect. So they actually want to perform every kind of action, every subject, every question with perfectionist, right? As a perfectionist, which is obviously not possible. So it's a red flag if they are refusing to start a problem unless they are certain of the answer. Third red flag is you have to identify the sensitivity, getting unusually upset over a single low score in a test, or being upset of having a little less marks than his or her friend, right? So these are the three main red flags according to me. And the last is the obviously if they're having headaches, they're not having proper sleeps, they are little bit irritated with small things, not talking happily, they're not happy, yeah, always, in a shouting mode, or so these are some physical, observations. If you feel that these are the things happening, so all these are red flags. If the student is in grade 4 to 7 and these are the things which are happening, and these are new things which are coming in, then these are the red flags. Now, firstly, we should understand the cause, right? Then we will talk about the precautions and what things we can do. The cause, we have to understand that why this is happening to the child, right? So, three reasons for this burnout, according to research, I'm going to share with you that in grade 4 to 7 students, if they are facing these type of changes, so what are the reasons of being burnout? First is the child entire identity becomes a maths kid, a very intelligent kid, very smart kid, right? If they have been, appreciated being a smart child, an intelligent child throughout till grade 4 by parents or teachers, so they actually, take it as their own identity, that this is their identity. They are an intelligent student or a smart student or a topper, or you can say the maths kid, the science kid, like that. So they take it as that this is their identity. They consider it as their own identity. They start realizing that this is who I am, right? And when they fail one test or they don't do the things as expected, they feel like their whole personality is failing. Their whole personhood as a person, they're not justifying what other people are thinking about them. So that creates a pressure, and that is one of the reason of the burnout and these symptoms which are seen. Second is the challenge gap. Sometimes what happens is this: in India, all the schools are not same. If school is too easy, the brain stays in low power mode, right? You can see when an Olympiad provides a higher level of question, they check the logical ability of the child, they provide challenging question. So the brain literally feels overstimulated and shuts down because they are into if the school is very easy and the child is doing good, so the child will start thinking that he's a very smart kid, but actually is not exposed to the good problem. It's it's the environment created around him is like that he's doing great, but actually the curriculum is very easy. He's not actually exposed to the real problems. So all the schools of India are not same. So obviously, in some school the curriculum is too easy, so when they are exposed to the Olympiad problems, they think that, oh, they don't know things, right? So it's a shock for them. So that also creates such kind of symptoms. And the last is the extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Now, these terms you can consider it as external motivation and internal motivation. What is external motivation? That means the student is doing a certain thing for some reward, for some prize, to make parents happy, to make teachers happy, to get a medal, right? So that is an external motivation. He wants this scholarship, he wants this prize and appreciation. So that is the reason he is doing working hard and performing well. Another is the internal motivation, that the child is actually enjoying doing the puzzle, doing the problems. He actually enjoys the process. So that is the internal motivation. So sometimes child get confused with internal motivation and external motivation. It's the external motivation he's working for, and when he comes to grade 8, 9, 10, he don't feel the need for external motivation, and that actually impacts the level of study and the hard work and the time he was spending on studies and academics. So it reduces because the external motivation vanishes. The lifespan of external motivation is very small. Once he or she will get the medal, he proved everyone that he's a very intelligent child, game's done. So when the game is done, motivation is low, and now child don't want to study. But internal motivated child will always take the subject and academics in the same way, irrespective of whether he's getting the results or not, because he's actually enjoying it. So these are the three reasons which I feel like a child reached to this burnout situation because of these three things. So that is the cause. These are the causes of the things which are happening uh, now what we should talk about the solution, what we should do as parents. And if you're a student and you realize that this is happening with you, then as a student, what you should do, what should be the strategy? According to me, first is 70-30 rule, that you should expose yourself 70% of the time with the school curriculum and the moderate academics, whatever you are doing. But you should expose yourself to 30% of your time to challenging problems, challenging things. For that, you can do some extraordinary higher order books, or you can join some online classes. Like I also take live classes for Olympiads. So I generally get, most of the students and parents says that my child is a topper in my school, but in your classes he's not performing, being topper, or not scoring 100% all the time in the test, because I'm not exposing the child. I'm not creating a myth there in my live classes that the things are very easy. No. So I'm trying to expose to them to new things and making them realize that there are a lot of things to learn, and there are a lot of problems you need to think through. So you must expose yourself to such kind of problems, whether it is through books or online courses, recorded courses, live batches, whatever it is. But you should spend your 30% of the time on new and challenging problems. Secondly, is praise the process. If you're a parent, stop saying that you're very smart. You're a smart kid, you're an intelligent kid. Don't appreciate the child for being smart or intelligent, but appreciate the child for doing the effort. Okay, you did a great job, you put so much effort, great. You thought so deeply about this. This is a unique method you are thinking about. Well done, you thought in such a way for this problem. So you should appreciate the child for the process. Then the child will get habitual of being appreciated by the process, so he will keep on continuing the efforts, he will not stop doing the efforts, right? So you should appreciate that. And if you're a student and you realize that this is happening with you, so you have to realize better that you know uh, you are a smart kid. Obviously it's kid cannot drastically change within 1 or 2 year. It's compound effect of so many years, so obviously it will not vanish immediately. It's just that you might need a break, or it's just that sometimes in some concept we need more time than expected. There are expectations, people think that you're smart, but that doesn't mean that if you fail they'll think the vice versa. It's not like that, right? It's not black and white. You are intelligent or dumb. It's not like that. It's there is always a gray, and 90% of the world lies in the gray, not in the black and white, right? So you have to understand that whatever the efforts you're putting in is more important than the actual results and the rewards and the tags you're getting, right? So these are the two things you should focus on. Another recovery steps, like you have realized as a parent that your child is going through this phase, or as a student you realize that you are going through this phase, then first thing you should do is enforce digital detox. Now what is enforced digital detox? As a parent or student, you should stop no screen time for before going to bed. At least before going to bed, before 1 hour, you should not be exposed to any other screen time. It's television, mobile phone, and internet, anything, no. So you know that you sleep by 10 p.m. So your deadline for screen time should be 9 p.m. So that means you're going to sleep at 10. So going to be at bed at 10 p.m. So 9 p.m. is the deadline that you're not going to see any kind of digital exposure uh, after 9 p.m. So 1 hour it should be you and your family and the physical activities you can perform. Nothing like that. It exhausts the mind. You become exhausted. You become, so that actually changes the mood a lot for the next day. You don't feel completely relaxed. Your sleep is not proper. So it really helps. Second is off season. So off season is schedule one full week every quarter with zero competitive, preparation. So if you are in a rigorous preparation mode, you're doing a lot of things, and so in every 3 months you should have 1 week of not doing anything. Means just completing your homework. That's it. No extra effort like that. If you're putting extra effort and preparing for Olympiads and things, you should have 1 week time in which you're not doing anything. It should be a refreshing week. Next is cross training. So, as a parent, you should encourage your child to do some other things as well, like music, sports, anything. So, that is called as cross training. So, to diversify their identity. So, the child's identity should not only be like he's very good in academics, he's preparing for this Olympiad, and that is very intelligent kid, but also be like he plays badminton very well. He is a very sporty person as well. He do exercise, he do running, cycling, and etc. So there should be a diversification of the identity. There should not be one tagline imposed to the child that my child is this, a very good player, a very good, not only one. So you have to diversify the identity of your child. For that, you have to engage the child in various other activities, including their his or her hobby, non-academics, right? So these are the things which I feel that you should do. And as parents, I highly recommend you to use such kind of conversation starters instead of whatever you are using till now. And that is, what was the hardest thing you tried today? So encourage the child, asking some parents are not asking, what marks you got, what rank you got. But my parents are asking, like, what you have learned today, what new thing you have learned today, what is the hardest thing you find to do today, right? Like that. And like the statements like, I loved how you didn't give up on the geometry logic, even when it took 30 minutes of time of yours, right? You spent 30 long minutes on one single problem. That's great. You have great problem solving skill set that you can spend and think about a problem for 30 long minutes. It's appreciable, right? So these things you should motivate to the child. And obviously, with that, you as a parent have to make sure that your child knows that he or she is very important to your family, not because of his ranks or academic performance, but it's because of the personality he is or she is, right? So you should say that your value to the family has nothing to do with your IMO rank or school rank or test marks, but it should be, you mean to us a lot because of your own personality, the way you love me, the mother, the father, the way you keep our house so, engaging all the time and happening and living, we feel alive. So these things you feel that as parents, but we don't speak out. So you should do that as well, right? So that will create a new identity perspective to the child. Okay, my parents, I value to them in this way also, right? So that should be inculcated to the child, and this really helps to make the child calm and understand the things well. So, with this, thank you so much. Please do follow me on the YouTube channel. If you find it helpful, please do like the video and comment me in the comment box that if you have any queries regarding the same. Let's create an environment and place and space where we can talk about it. We can actually engage with the problems the children are facing. So please do comment in the comment box, and you can contact me on the phone numbers given everywhere on my website, on YouTube, description, everywhere. So just WhatsApp me for the same if you really think that you need guidance for the same. Thank you so much. Take care. See you in the next video.